Well, welcome to Round Glass. I'm Vishvapani Blomfield, and thank you so much for joining me today. It's really great to share the practice together. This is the 7th session of my series on engaging imagination. In today's practice, we'll connect with the blue sky, and that will be an image of the infinite scope of our minds. So, what's the weather like where you are? And what's the internal weather like? How you feel inside? Is it bright and sunny? Is it gloomy and overcast? Whatever it is, okay, that's what we'll be working with today. So the day before I was ordained as a Buddhist in a retreat center in a remote Spanish valley, I climbed with the person who was to conduct my ordination up one of the rocky peaks on the valley's side. And there's this really steep climb. But from the top, we could look out across the valley in all directions. So my friend and I, we spoke about the retreat. And then as we spoke, the valley filled with clouds. But the clouds were below us, forming a carpet around the rocks where we sat. So the whole world vanished. My friend, it just left me and my friend on this rocky outcrop. And then above us, above the carpet of cloud, was the blue sky arching above our heads. And it was this deep, luminous blue that went on forever. As a wonderful moment, and I think possibly the closest I've ever come, feeling that I was living in the sky. So that's the image, and I want to thank everyone for sharing in the chat. I see some of you reporting blue skies above, but the internal weather is I'm feeling rather hazy in my mind. Someone else has shared the weather in Santa Fe, New Mexico is cool, crisp morning air. Lovely. The internal weather is optimistic for what's ahead. Okay, thank you for that. And someone in New York City says it's humid and sunny outside, but her internal weather is hopeful as she steps into Monday. And in Seattle, it's expected to be 110 degrees off the charts heat, but his internal weather is calm. Okay, that's lovely to hear. Thank you for that. So in this session, we're using the image of the sky to evoke the expansiveness of the mind. In Buddhist meditation teaching, the sky is an important symbol. You can imagine that the sky is like your mind. When thoughts come into your mind, they easily capture our attention, yes? So we can imagine the thoughts that come into the sky are like clouds. And you can't stop them from coming. You can't stop clouds. You can't stop thoughts, but we can just let them drift past. So then again, it might feel as if the whole sky is filled with clouds. It might be gloomy and overcast. It might even be raining. So the mind often feels like that. But we can reflect that beyond the clouds is the blue sky. It's always there. And is always radiant and vast and beautiful. And for some Buddhist traditions, it's really important, really helpful to feel that the mind, our minds, are pure and radiant, even if the mind doesn't feel that way. You just need to climb the rocks and then we'll see the sky. Okay, so to climb a mountain, you go step by step. You can't just jump to the top. So we'll take the meditation gradually, starting with simple elements of our experience, and then we'll have this sense of opening up to the sky. If any questions come up for you during the practice, please ask in the chat. I'll do my best to answer them when we've finished. So let's just decide how we're going to sit, find a posture that's comfortable but alert. You may want to decide also how you relate to the screen, whether you're sitting in front of the screen or perhaps turning away from the screen. to be in your own space. Just checking what's right for you in the practice, and it may not be the same as what was right for you the last time you did something like this. What's right now? So, just feeling the body, sensing the body, and resting on our support, letting the weight rest down onto the floor. Just resting on the earth. And taking our awareness through the body, so feeling the feet. If you're sitting like me or sitting in a chair, then the feet will be touching the floor. And then coming up the body, whatever your posture may be, up through the ankles and legs, the knees, the thighs, up to the hips, feeling where we rest on the chair or whatever it is we're resting on. Coming up through the torso, letting the body rise up. If it's right for your body, then maybe just sitting away from any rest that's behind you. If you're in a chair, if that's okay for you, and so that we can just feel the length of the spine, the extension of the spine, and the body will come to a naturally alert posture just by that gentle sense of lifting up, letting the chest be open, the shoulders soft, face soft, eyes soft. Sensing the body as a whole and noticing our thoughts. What's going on in our thoughts? So as we've been sitting and settling, what thoughts have been in your mind? Even as we've been sitting. Maybe you've been thinking about something in particular, so just notice that. And what's the quality of the thoughts? Are they busy? Are they excited or anxious or agitated or heavy and dull? What's the quality of the thoughts? It's like asking what the internal weather is like. If the thoughts are clouds, are they heavy? Are they light? And so sensing the feelings in the body that go with that experience of the thoughts and the internal weather. Noticing anything that feels tense, tight. And we can just imagine that the breath is flowing gently into that tense or tight area. Tension may be a bit unpleasant, but it's also where our energy is. So just breathing into it. Letting things settle. And just letting go of thoughts, just having an attitude of letting go as we breathe in and as we breathe out. As the breath rises and as it settles. Maybe taking a slightly deeper breath. As we breathe out, long and slow, just letting things settle. And sensing the quality of the mind. Is it still busy? Is it calm and still? Is it a mixture of the two? So sensing the quality of our experience as we breathe, as the body moves with the breath. Just staying present, settling, staying with the sensations of breathing. And the inner space of the mind. Thoughts, our feelings, our awareness. So as we settle into this sense of awareness, bring to mind the image of the sky, deep blue, shining, azure, filled with light. The sky is vast, extending in all directions. In front, endless blue sky. Behind, endless blue sky. To either side, below, sky extending infinitely. Above, dwelling in the sky. Dwelling in awareness. Resting with awareness of the sky. Just seeing that blue colour. Maybe bringing to mind what the sky is like, how it looks, what blue is like. Breathing, settling, and noticing thoughts coming into the mind. Just acknowledging our thoughts, ideas, plans, images. Imagining, perceiving the thoughts as clouds. Clouds entering the sky. Just noticing how they draw our attention, how our attention goes towards our thoughts, and we start thinking about all sorts of things. So, just letting the clouds drift by, letting the thoughts drift by. I'm not trying to stop the thoughts, letting them drift past like clouds. And maybe noticing which direction they come from. Do they come from the left or the right? And where do they go? Just letting them go. The sky is always there. So just staying in this space for a moment, using the breath to keep us centered, a sense of the body, a sense of the openness of our experience, or the open dimension of our experience. Letting thoughts be like clouds, and letting the clouds float away. And if the clouds don't want to float away, that's okay. Can't control the clouds. Just acknowledging whatever thoughts are there, but not holding on to them. Just pausing, settling, and sensing that the mind is like the sky, pure, open, infinite. Breathing. Sensing. Opening. Mind like the sky. Letting our experience unfold itself in this open space of awareness. Whatever we're feeling, is present in the sky. The body present in the sky. In the open space of awareness. So coming back to the body, just feeling the breath, and starting to make a gradual transition. Just taking it quite gently and easily. Bringing our awareness right into the body. Maybe moving a little, perhaps fingers, perhaps toes. Maybe rolling your shoulders, move your neck a little. Just encouraging the body back to movement. When you're ready, just opening your eyes. Of course, it's fine to keep sitting, keep meditating. I'll be talking a little bit about the practice for a few moments. But just take as long as you need to make that transition, or to absorb, or even to continue. So, how was it to do this practice today? How was it to imagine the sky? I'm just curious, just interested if any elements of the practice struck you in particular. I mean, the colour blue, for example, has a certain quality, a resonance. So did that resonate with your experience? Whatever your experience was, it's not right or wrong. You just notice what today's practice left you with. So looked at one way, each of us is a mass of faults, a mass of imperfections. Our bodies are imperfect. None of us is as kind or as brave or as smart as we'd like to be. Of course, we can all think that way, especially if we compare ourselves to other people. And we're all a bit puzzled by this strange experience that we call being alive. Are you not puzzled by that? I certainly am. But what if there's another dimension of our experience? This is the reflection that the meditation is pointing us towards. What if underneath it all, our minds are really like the sky? They're not like the clouds. And that's a very encouraging thought. Even if we can feel that we're buried in difficulties, we can still remind ourselves that the sky is always there. That's a very helpful thing to do. It can create a greater sense of space and of all the challenges that life brings, whatever that means for you. We can hold them. They sit within that greater perspective. So, this is the way that the practice encourages us to think, that there's this sort of deeper space within us. And then really the challenge through the day or through our lives is to stay in touch with that, because the clouds are many. I live in Wales, which is a cloudy country. We get a lot of rain coming in off the Atlantic, and it drops on the first land it comes to, which is Ireland, and then it's right where I live. So we get a lot of rain and a lot of clouds. And life can feel like that as well. It can feel like, it all just comes to us. And so this is where practice comes in. Meditation practice, especially if we can have longer periods to absorb ourselves in it. So we have a much deeper sense of who we really are, and we're identifying not so much with the clouds, but with the sky. And it is quite hard to know how to talk about that, apart from through metaphors. We don't want to, at least as a Buddhist, in Buddhism, we don't want to give it a name, even a name like God. We don't really want to do that. We just want to keep the sense that there's a mystery there. And an image like the sky is a way of pointing us towards that mystery without narrowing it down or defining it or naming it even. The sky is always there, and it is this miraculous part of our experience of being alive on the planet. And we just need to look up, or we need to get beyond the clouds. So there's a Tibetan Buddhist teacher called Tilopa. And he says, he talks a lot about this sort of imagery, and he says, the clouds that wander through the sky have no roots, and nor do the thoughts that float through the mind. So let your mind and body rest at ease. So the clouds have no roots, the thoughts have no roots. Just rest at ease. So I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you for joining me. Follow me on my profile to practice a session again. And and then also on my profile you can see when I'm going live next. So have a good day and keep open to the sky.